Welcome to Hackathon 101. So in this workshop, I'm just going to be going through natHACKS, what natHACKS is, what all you need to know to succeed at natHACKS. So let's begin by introducing myself. I'm Yash Mauje. I'm the director of web at NeurAlbertaTech. Apart from that, I'm in the third year of my computing science degree at the U of A with a business minor. And as you know, I'm also the co-president for natHACKS. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We'll be starting with introduction. So everything natHACKS. For natHACKS, we have three basic rules. The first is for teams. Teams have to be between 5 to 6 members, and at least half of the team has to be Albertan. If you're in the standard division and you want to create a team, you can go to portal.neuralberta.tech/team creation. I can put the link on Discord, and you can create your team over there if you haven't already. The deadline to do so is tonight at midnight. The second portion is hacking. We have a 64-hour window to hack. No code that's developed before that will be accepted. We'll be looking into the times on your commits to ensure that you haven't done anything from before. And even if you still manage to get away with it, it'll be pretty obvious that you did. Thirdly, all prize money will be there to fund the future development of projects. So you can look at this as seed funding for your projects after the hackathon. And as you go through the project, you will get more money to fund your project from the prize you have won. Then we have a timeline. The hackathon period, or the hacking period, has already begun. It started at 7 p.m. and it ends on November 17th at 10 a.m., which is 64 hours. For submissions, you can start submissions from the 17th of November at 8 a.m. until the 17th of November at 10 a.m. Yep. And then from 10 a.m. is the judging period, which will be until 4 p.m. So this will include the qualification round as well as the final round. So please be here on Sunday from at least 10 a.m. and ensure that you have made your submission before 10 a.m. For submission, we have a couple of requirements. So to do so, first you need to have a GitHub repository with your code. Then you need to have a dev post submission. On your dev post submission, you need a project summary of 250 words. You need a presentation for 60 to 90 second video for your presentation and a link to your repository. You will be presenting this live to judges. If you're in Edmonton, which you are, at least in this case, you'll be presenting in person. For all the other sites, it's going to be virtual. And we also have a rubric for this. This can be found in the survival guide, and it will also be put up on NAT portal and on our website, nathacks.ca. There are some categories that you should explore. One is technical complexity, functionality, creativity, and innovation. These three are the most important, and they're marked out of 10. So you should focus on these first. And then comes presentation. This could be like commercial viability, delivery, demonstration, impact, your summary, interdisciplinary collaboration, and your weekly dev reports. Weekly dev reports have been covered under the project management workshop. So if you don't know what those are, you could look at them through the project management workshop. This follows the Stanford biodesign model. While doing so, you need to keep two things in mind. First, ensure that your hardware works. We have an entire team of hardware associates that are willing to help you with any problems that you have. Anything from, I don't know what to do with this, to, okay, this won't work, what do I do? You can contact anyone from the hardware team and they'll be willing to help you. The second is time management. Ensure that you know when the hacking period ends, so then you can plan your coding accordingly. We'll also be having workshops throughout the 3 days. So these workshops are very important and very helpful. There'll be a hardware primer today and a neuroscience workshop. I forget the name. But these are some good workshops to begin your project with. Also keep in mind the submission deadline and how judging works. Then comes hackathon survival tips. We have some general tips. Project management. Plan before you start coding. Do not just jump right in. That will never end well. You need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And sometimes you'll spend hours on trying to figure something out, and in the end, you'll realize that it wasn't worth spending time on. So plan what you want to do, figure out what your project is about, and how you're solving your problem. And most importantly, is this problem even worth solving? So once you've done that, you can start coding. Make a to-do list. So do not just say, okay, I'm going to handle this portion and you're going to handle that portion. Make it quantifiable. Have some concrete action items that you can divide amongst your team. That way you can keep track of where you are and where you're going. This could be in the form of flowcharts and Kanban boards if you like that sort of thing. You should, in fact, divide tasks according to team members' strengths. So if someone's good at web development, it's better that they do web development instead of, I don't know, user experience or design. So divide tasks according to the team members' strengths, and budget enough time for writing the report and recording the submission video. Because sometimes when you're working on projects, you're going to go last minute, and then you won't have enough time to write the report or record a video, and that's going to harm you. You could have the best project in the world, but still these things will weigh you down during judging. So ensure that you have enough time to deal with these things. Then we have some general tips. Know your stuff. Ensure good communication between hardware and software. So in your project, you want to ensure that the hardware is working fine, the software is working fine, and they're communicating well with each other, especially when there are people who are working only on hardware and some people only on software, and you usually end up dealing with combining both of them together on the last day. So keep testing that it works throughout the hackathon period. Look into research, know what's out there, because sometimes you're going to be dealing with some problems, and then there'll be a lot of research, a lot of videos, a lot of information online that you can refer to. So look into that. You don't need to start from scratch. Build on top of others' work. Don't cheat, don't plagiarize, but you can look into research. Also familiarize yourself with the submission and judging rubrics. I know I'm underlining this a lot throughout this, but you should focus on this as well, because many people just end up coding. Their project will be the best, and still they won't be winning because they did not focus on what the rubrics are. So you should know what these things are and focus on that as well. Take advantage of workshops. We have many expert people sharing their knowledge throughout the hackathon period. We also have the educational sprint that got over. So you can watch any of these workshops. They're available on our YouTube channel. So feel free to do that whenever you get stuck, especially at the start of your hacking period. Network and collaborate. You're in a room full of people who are in the same boat as you. Most people don't know how neurotech works. Take advantage of this. Meet people, figure stuff out together. There'll be people who are experts in what they're doing, so network with them, understand what's going on, learn from them. It's a great opportunity to do that here. And take breaks. Do not go spending all-nighter after all-nighter. It's not going to work out well, especially doing judging when you're presenting in front of judges and you're like sleep deprived, haven't slept for like an hour over 3 days. It's not going to end well. So take breaks, prioritize your health, and the general, just drink enough water, eat food. We have food and water, so yeah. Then submission tips and tricks. Post the link to your public GitHub repository on DevPost. Ensure that it's public, because sometimes people share their repository's link and it's private, so then that just works against them. And all of the projects should be worked upon during the hacking period, not from before it and not after. Your project summary should be under 250 words, and you need to be as clear and concise as possible. This will work in your benefit, so take advantage of that, especially if you have 64 hours to deal with all of this, so start working on this as you work on the project. It's very likely that your project is going to end up looking like this. You're going to start strong, and you're going to end weak, but that's all right, because the purpose of having this hackathon is to build an MVP, a minimum viable product. It's intended to be a prototype and not something that you can sell in the market. So it's fine if your project looks like this. Just be sure that you are conveying your project idea and the problem that you're solving clearly during judging. This won't hold you back if you're working on a good problem and your prototype is doing what you promise it's doing. This is a breakdown of submissions. When you're doing a submission, you need to have an introduction about your team and your project. what your project is about, why are you doing this project, and what you did during the hacking period and what are the results. You don't need it to be in a 100% working state. As long as you can explain what you did and what its results are, you're fine. You should have an impactful summary. And again, the live presentation to judges at the University of Alberta will be over here. It will be mostly in the Orion room and nearby rooms, but we'll update it on the day of judging. In all other sites, it's going to be virtual. So when you go in front of judges, you can start by introducing your team and what your project is about. You should restate what the goals of your project are. And yeah, it's on dev post, and yeah, you have written a summary, but you should also just reiterate what it is in front of the judges, so that because they're dealing with hundreds of, okay, not hundreds, but they're dealing with a ton of submissions, and they're going to lose track of what's going on. So just reiterate what your project is about, and then briefly touch on the hardware and software aspect of the project. So you should you should talk about what your software is doing, what your hardware is doing, and how they're working together. And you should give a demonstration of your project. So you'll also have the video, but you should also have a working project or a working demo that you can show. It's always going to work in your benefit. And then conclude by giving an impactful ending statement, self-explanatory. The video presentation will be 2 minutes long, and the rubric will be provided. You can also look into the hacker survival guide with the rubric. And thank you. If you have any questions, we have the entire natHACKS team over here. Admin people are in pink t-shirts, volunteers are in purple, and yeah, feel free to ask us any questions anytime during the day. We also have mentors here who are here just to help you out. So take advantage of that, speak with them, learn from them, and yeah. And that's the end of Hackathon 101.